Can I go with you? The homeless girl asked the millionaire. His response left everyone in tears. The streets were alive with noise, engines humming, people talking loudly into phones, laughter spilling from the outdoor cafes. But to the little girl standing barefoot on the sidewalk, it all felt like a distant world she could never touch. Her toes curled against the cold concrete as she shifted her weight from one foot to the other. She clutched the edge of her tattered dress and looked down at her dusty hands. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. 2 nights ago, her mother had knelt in front of her on this very sidewalk, tears streaking her face. "Stay here, baby girl," she had whispered hoarsely. "I'll come back with food. I promise." The girl nodded, believing her. Mama had always come back before, but this time felt different. This time, she waited through the night, her little body trembling from hunger and fear. People walked past her as if she didn't exist. Some looked at her with pity, others with annoyance, but no one stopped. That morning, she had tried asking for help. "Excuse me?" she whispered to a woman in a navy blue dress. The woman didn't even glance down. "Do you have any bread?" she asked a man carrying a brown paper bag. "Go away, kid," he snapped. Her stomach growled so loudly that a boy walking past laughed and pointed at her. "She's like a stray dog," he said to his friend. The girl backed into the corner near a tall building. She wrapped her thin arms around her chest and tried to make herself small. The truth was, she was scared to leave this spot. What if Mama really did come back and couldn't find her? But deep down, she already knew. Mama wasn't coming back. Hours passed. Her legs ached from standing. Her throat felt dry like sandpaper. She watched expensive cars glide along the road, shiny and cleaned like toys from another universe. Men and women in perfect clothes stepped out, talking and laughing like they had no idea what hunger felt like. What if I asked one of them for help? She shook her head. The last man she asked for help had shoved her aside so hard she'd scraped her knee on the pavement. But then she saw him. A yellow Lamborghini pulled up to the curb, its engine purring like a giant cat. The door opened, and a man stepped out wearing a bright white suit. His shoes gleamed, his hair was perfectly styled, and he carried a black briefcase. He wasn't like the others. The way he stood, calm, confident, made her heart race. She didn't know why, but something inside her whispered, "This one is different." She watched him from a distance as he checked his watch and adjusted his tie. He looked busy, important. Her little hands trembled. "Don't do it," she whispered to herself. But another voice inside her said, "If you don't ask, you'll die here." She took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Sir," she called softly. He didn't hear her. "Sir," she said louder, her voice shaking. The man turned, surprised, his eyes dropped to meet hers. She froze for a moment. Her courage faltered. But then she thought of Mama walking away, of her stomach growling, of the cold nights alone, and she blurted out the words that had been building in her chest all night. Can I go with you?" The man blinked in surprise, staring down at the barefoot little girl with wide, tearful eyes. "What?" he asked softly, as if unsure he'd heard her right. The people nearby slowed their steps, curious. The girl lifted her chin slightly, her small hand reaching out. "Please, I'll be good. I don't want to be alone anymore." The words hit him like a punch to the chest. Can I go with you?" The little girl's voice was barely a whisper, but it silenced the world around them. Cars slowed. Conversations faded. Even the birds seemed to stop singing. She stood there barefoot, her tiny hand stretched out toward him, trembling. Her dress clung to her thin frame, stained and torn. Behind her, people paused to watch. Some frowned in confusion, others smirked as if it were a joke. But for him, it wasn't a joke. It was a mirror. He saw himself in her. A boy with torn shoes. A boy left behind at a bus station when his mother said, "Wait here. I'll come back." She never did. And he remembered how he had wished, prayed for someone to notice him. No one ever did until now. The man's throat tightened as he crouched down, meeting her big, tearful eyes. "You want to come with me?" he asked softly. The girl nodded. "I'll be good," she whispered. "I promised. I just don't want to be alone anymore." A woman in the crowd scoffed. "She's probably just after money." "Don't do it, man," a man muttered. "You'll regret it." Their voices stung him. Not because they were cruel, but because they were the same voices he'd once heard about himself. He stood up slowly, his sharp white suit glowing in the sunlight. Then he turned to the crowd. "You all see a dirty little girl," he said loudly. "But I see myself. Years ago, I was standing in her shoes, hungry, alone, and begging for help. And you know what?" He paused, his voice breaking. No one stopped for me. Not one person. Gasps rippled through the onlookers. Do you know how that feels? He continued, his voice trembling. To cry until you can't cry anymore? To believe you're invisible? To feel like your life doesn't matter? The girl looked up at him, her tiny lips trembling. The man knelt again and gently took her hand. But you, he whispered. You're not invisible. Not to me. And you'll never feel that way again. He stood still holding her hand. Seen anything like this? I was given a second chance at life. The girl's lips quivered. Stronger now. You really mean it? And I built wealth, cars, she asked houses. I do. None of that means anything if I let this little girl walk away. You don't ever have to beg anyone again. Tears glistened in his eyes. You're safe now. So yes, he picked her up gently. You can cradling her tiny frame from this moment on. Chest. You're mine, and the crowd parted as he walked back. The crowd fell silent. Lamborghini. Then one by one, before getting in, people's eyes turned to the people watching. A woman covered her mouth with her hand. He said quietly. A man in a business suit wiped at his eyes. You just have to care. At his mansion later that night, he tucked the little girl into a soft bed. Are you going to leave me too? She asked timidly. His eyes softened as he brushed her hair from her forehead. Never, he whispered. You're my daughter now. Months later, their story went viral. Millionaire's tearful response to homeless girl asking for help leaves entire crowd crying. But to him, none of the headlines mattered. What mattered was the little voice that called out to him every morning. Daddy, if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. And let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.